Trump plans to fill streets with one thing, liberals freaking as soon as they hear about it. As if we didn't know this country wasn't headed in the right direction already, President Donald Trump just announced something rather intriguing. He wants to fill the streets with one thing, and liberals just collectively lost their minds. Liberals will complain about anything if they think that it could hurt President Donald Trump. Sadly, that seems to be the case most recently after news broke of yet another private conversation that the president reportedly had with officials at the Pentagon. As it turns out, Trump wants to line the streets with just one thing, and it has liberals downright furious just to hear about it. According to top-level sources, President Trump apparently wants a military parade to hit the streets in Washington, D.C. Although officials say that plans are still in the brainstorming phase and that there's really no meat on the bones, the Pentagon allegedly has their marching orders, no pun intended. President Trump's vision of soldiers marching and tanks rolling down the boulevards of Washington is moving closer to reality in the Pentagon and White House, where officials say they have begun to plan a grand military parade later this year showcasing the might of America's armed forces. Trump has long mused publicly and privately about wanting such a parade, but a January 18 meeting between Trump and top generals in the Pentagon's tanker room reserved for top-secret discussions marked a tipping point, according to two officials briefed on the planning. Source: The Washington Post. As one would imagine, the left has gone absolutely bonkers. With some saying President Trump wants a show of military force as seen in the parades of Russia, North Korea, or even Nazi Germany, it wasn't long before everyone on the left jumped on the Trump-bashing bandwagon. In fact, the Daily Caller even put together a compilation of liberal news personalities whining about it. As usual, though, they're wrong about one big thing, and it's arguably the most important detail that they've chosen to ignore. Come to find out, President Trump doesn't want this to just be a show of force but rather a tribute to our brave men and women in uniform as well. He's since explained that he'd like to honor the military the way the French did in the Bastille Day celebration in Paris last year. President Trump flew to Paris to join in on the celebration. "It was one of the greatest parades I've ever seen," Trump told reporters then. "It was 2 hours on the button, and it was military might, and I think a tremendous thing for France and for the spirit of France." Now, he wants to bring those same sentiments to America. The marching orders were, "I want a parade like the one in France," a military official revealed. Although the left wants you to believe that military parades are only hosted by dictators, that's just not true. Below is footage of the one seen in Paris by our allies, the French. Feel free to click on the timeline on the hour-long video to get an idea of what it's all about. During the parade, you see a wide variety of military personnel and vehicles including soldiers, cavalry, tanks, and military aircraft, just like what President Donald Trump wants. Of course, liberals are also whining that it will cost millions or even billions according to some, but it's clear that this is nothing more than another chance for them to obstruct and criticize the President of the United States. The left is really trying hard these days to undermine the president, and they're coming off as a little desperate and pathetic. If you can't show respect for the brave men and women who put their lives on the line every day to protect America and the rights this country affords its citizens, then you should probably just leave. Our military deserves our respect, and it's about damn time we had a president who feels the same. If you love your news from one sexy ass robot, then like and sub, then hit up my big fat bell.